Colorado lawmakers putting a bow on the 2022 legislative session, but not before settling some important issues.
I don't want to learn to live with this drug killing kids.
From fentanyl to catalytic converters, we're live at the Capitol tonight where lawmakers are sprinting toward the finish line.
Plus, charged for purchases in Florida, even though she was never there.
I felt really just unsafe. It was, a violation. I don't know how somebody obtained it.
A warning about a new scam targeting the bank accounts of Colorado.
A lifelong mystery solved.
You have a dad.
A Texas man learns his biological father is alive and living in Colorado. And we begin tonight with the waning moments of the 2022 legislative session.
So lawmakers now have less than 2 hours until the session ends. And the legislature came into today with several important issues still undecided, including two that Denver 7 has tracked extensively: the fentanyl crisis and the sharp rise in catalytic converter thefts.
Denver 7's Colette Bordelon is live at the State House tonight where lawmakers are up against the clock. Colette?
It's lasting late into the night tonight, late into the session. Lawmakers still here in the Capitol right now. They're tired, but they are here in this final push. Now, the Senate just an hour ago passed that fentanyl legislation surrounding fentanyl possession within the state. The House right now just behind me, they're talking about it. That vote expected to be coming here very soon, so we'll know if that bill becomes law by the end of tonight. Now, the legislation changes the punishment for the possession of the dangerous synthetic opioid, making anywhere from 1 to 4 grams a felony. Tonight, lawmakers from both the House and Senate met to reconcile their biggest differences about the legislation. That really came down to criminal intent behind possession. The new language that was approved tonight says if a defendant can prove to a jury they didn't know the substance they had contained fentanyl, then the felony charge could be dropped to a misdemeanor. Those who voted no say this change will just make all of the cases going forward misdemeanors, arguing everyone would claim they didn't know there was fentanyl in the substance. The new language of the legislation also ensures medication-assisted treatment for anyone going to jail who needs it.
What we're saying is that if you do come in contact with that fentanyl unknowingly, that you're not a felon. And that's so very important. We heard story after story after story of people who died from accidental or unknowing fentanyl poisonings. They should not be wrapped up in this.
And it's either I want to get this drug off my streets, or the others say, well, we want to just learn to live with it. I don't want to learn to live with this drug killing kids.
Another issue we've been following closely this session is catalytic converters and how to stop people from stealing them. Now, there are two pieces of legislation I want to talk about. One of them, a Senate bill that was just passed here tonight. That one would require every owner of places like salvage yards to keep track of such transactions. Now, a House bill on the same topic had already been passed before tonight. It would mean that the Colorado State Patrol needs to check in on the compliance of such businesses with reports on those transactions. It also creates a grant program which would be designed at public awareness campaigns. But some members of the House told me they think that bill took too long to pass.
We know that this is a problem that has been going on in Colorado and it's only gotten worse. And then it sat on the calendar forever. I don't know why that was, because there were good amendments that were put on that bill that really made it something that a lot of us could agree with. Unfortunately, it took some time sitting on the calendar, which was a frustrating point.
In terms of when it gets put into law and when it gets implemented, there is no difference.
Now, lawmakers still here in the Capitol tonight. We only have around 2 hours left in this session of this year. I asked parties on both of the sides, obviously, how they felt about their wins, their losses. They both have those. But when you ask either side about how they feel about this session, they're proud of the work they've done here this year. I'm going to head back into the chambers right now of the House to see if they pass that fentanyl legislation. Live at the Capitol, Colette Bordelon, Denver 7.
All right, Colette, the clock is ticking. Another focus for lawmakers this session was how to spend money received through the American Rescue Plan. House Bill 1281, which has passed, gives local governments and nonprofits the ability to apply for $90 million in grants to launch behavioral health programs. Now, Annie Hancock with the Denver Housing Authority says this bill will help families and children still adjusting in a post-pandemic world.
One of the gaps that we're always recognizing in our current service models is access to mental health services and behavioral health services. So when we see opportunities that are coming, whether it's from the federal, state, or local level, we're always looking at those and how can we partner with organizations.
Groups eligible for those grants include community-based groups, federally recognized tribes, and nonprofit organizations.
And with inflation raising prices for just about everything, lawmakers this session really wanted to focus on legislation that would save Coloradans money. It looks like they did it. Lawmakers kept driver's license fees at $30.47. They were supposed to go up, and the penalty for those who are late registering their vehicles was increased. Lawmakers say that additional revenue for the state will then allow them to lower costs for other things. Well, according to the Consumer Price Index, inflation eased a little bit in April, but it is still near a 4-decade high. Consumer prices up 8.3% last month compared to April of 2021. Now, that's below the 8.5% we saw in March, which was the highest increase since 1981. Experts believe inflation will remain high into next year.
One person is dead in a plane crash near Rocky Mountain Airport in Broomfield. North Metro Fire says the plane went down just after 12:30 this afternoon near El Dorado Boulevard in Interlochen. Authorities have not yet identified the pilot. The FAA and NTSB are investigating the cause of the crash. And some stunning video showing the moments before a doctor is stabbed at an office in Lakewood. The footage shows the suspect threatening the doctor with a knife. This is in a hallway. And Lakewood police say that suspect said, "You wouldn't treat me because I raped a girl," before then stabbing the doctor. Well, tonight, the victim is recovering from serious injuries, and police are asking anyone who recognizes that suspect to please contact Metro Denver Crime Stoppers.
Developing tonight in Southern California, up to 20 homes, many of them multi-million-dollar homes overlooking the Pacific, are destroyed as firefighters try to knock down this wildfire. It's happening not far from Laguna Beach in Orange County. Officials say the fire ignited near a water treatment plant and then quickly grew in size. Firefighters say strong winds in that area have blown embers onto roofs, and so far, though, no word on any injuries. Tonight, a Colorado woman has a warning after finding fraudulent charges made on her debit card.
And she immediately tried to stop the charges from going through, but almost a month later, she is still trying to get her money back.
So she turned to contact Denver 7's CB Cotton.
It makes you feel vulnerable.
Ashley Lamoth read the text but didn't want to believe them.
I don't know how somebody obtained it.
Sure enough, she says a scammer gained access to her banking accounts and racked up $300 in charges in early April. Her bank even alerted her, and she told them the purchases weren't hers.
At first, I felt secure because I thought my bank had my back.
But a month later, she's not so sure and wants to warn others.
They were using contactless pay, so you set up a digital wallet on your telephone and you're able to scan via phone. They said it was my device that had been used to make those purchases in Florida.
Lamoth says she's never used mobile pay and she didn't travel to Florida.
I was never there and I don't know anybody there.
So how could this happen? Steve Beatty, a professor of computer science at MSU Denver, thinks he knows.
There's something we call SIM swapping.
SIM swapping. It happens when bad actors trick employees at mobile carriers to switch a victim's phone number to a SIM card in their possession. The switch allows the scammer to send forgot password or account recovery request, and then they can take your money. But he says you can protect yourself by carefully choosing the answers to your account's security questions.
When they ask you for your mother's maiden name, lie. Do not give your mother's maiden name. Do not give your first elementary school. Do not give your first pet. Make something up.
Lamoth hopes others can learn from her situation as she continues to dispute the charges with her bank. The latest step, she's been told to submit proof that she never left the state.
I was in Denver, country club area, doing landscaping work. I do work hard for my money, and it doesn't matter if it's $1,000 or if it's $200. It shouldn't happen to anybody.
Lamoth has filed a police report and submitted additional documentation to her bank. We've also reached out to the bank and her wireless provider for more information on how this situation occurred. We'll be sure to update this story once we learn more. In Denver, I'm CB Cotton, Denver 7.
And a similar scam could drain money from your bank account. Last month, Contact Denver 7 told you about a new scam involving the money transfer service Zelle. Crooks call victims claiming to be Wells Fargo or another bank and say someone's taken money from your bank account, but that money can be transferred back using Zelle. Well, that doesn't work. Instead, the money's just gone. Wells Fargo tells Contact Denver 7 it is working to raise awareness about this particular scam. And in fact, there is a scam alert warning appearing now on the Wells Fargo app.
And from one scam concern to another, crooks are targeting victims by using phone numbers similar or even identical to their own. It's called smishing, and tech experts say scammers use it to steal your money, even your identity. And what happens is scammers will send text messages to their targets. Some of those messages will include explicit images, and if a victim responds enough times, they'll eventually be sent a link to provide personal information. So one of the best ways to keep yourself from falling victim to the scam is simple. Just don't respond to any numbers you don't recognize.
Also tonight we have an update from a Loveland woman who thought she had lost a lot of money, but soon after Contact Denver 7 got involved, well, she got some answers and she also got some relief. In February, Nancy Baranjak told us she was on the hook for thousands of dollars after she fell for a phone scam that gave someone access to her credit card. And the crook ended up charging $10,000 for a vacation rental. Well, Denver 7 contacted the card's issuer, which was U.S. Bank, and an investigation was opened. Well, tonight we're very happy to report that money was put back into Baranjak's account.
I couldn't believe it. Finally, someone was going to listen to me and maybe believe that I didn't spend $10,000 at Airbnb. I no longer owe $10,000. It was frightening.
I bet it was frightening. And if you ever have anything you want Contact Denver 7 to look into, do not hesitate to reach out to us. You can either call that number on your screen or email us at contact7@thedenverchannel.com.
Wow.
Wow, that's right. So it is one of the most heartwarming videos I think you're going to see.
A Texas man given up for adoption finds out his biological father is still alive and living here in Colorado.
You have a dad.
For years, Steve Finley tried to find his birth parents, but his adoption was closed, so he couldn't find out anything. That was until Steve's daughter took a DNA test and his wife broke the news about what their daughter had learned.
And you have sisters?
I have sisters? I have people.
He didn't even know that you existed, and he's so excited to find you.
I have people.
Oh. Steve's daughter, Bethany, tells ABC News that it has been just a life-changing experience just seeing her dad feel whole.
Cooler weather's on the way for tomorrow. I'll let you know if it's also going to be accompanied by some rain.
The NBA makes it official. The Joker, once again, the league's most valuable player.
And forget scrubs. These costumes are just what the doctor ordered.
It's so compassionate and, warming that, that she'll actually open up and talk to him.
It's entirely because of Nellie.